All right, so today we're gonna box break the 1991 Upper Deck High Series. So little history. Probably anybody that watches this video might know this or not, but anyway, so Upper Deck came out in 1989 with their landmark set that had the Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card in it, number 1 in the set. It's the most expensive card out of that set. What, $700 or $800 now for a gem mint, a 10, let's say. They revolutionized card collecting because basically cards were made out of cardboard. The pictures were, okay and everything. But man, when Upper Deck came out in 1989 with its first set with that clear photography, that thick, nice paper, and the beautiful pictures, they revolutionized. Now you were paying more for them, but people paid, and then Upper Deck became quite successful. All became the leaders in the industry, and everybody else had to catch up to them. So then in 1990 they put out another beautiful set, and then in 91 they put out this set. In 91, what they did, now cards were usually 700 or 800. They'll have a low series and a high series, like something like Topps or maybe Donruss would have a 2 series, but they'd split it in half, right? They'd have the cards in the first series and another half of the cards in the second series. What Upper Deck did was do the whole series. Series 1, the first series would be, this is shaky. Let's move this back so it doesn't shake. All right. So this table is kind of, all right. So what Upper Deck decided to do was put out the first 700 cards in the set in the low numbered set, and then from 701 to 800 in the high set. So this set from 1991 had a low series from 1 to 700, and then a high series from 701 to 800. So the total set was 800 cards, right? So this is going to be all from the high series, and the chase card that you're looking for is Find the Hank. So Hank Aaron cards. All right. So there's going to be a bunch of Hank Aaron cards. Now, people couldn't figure out why Upper Deck did it that way, because what would end up happening is you would end up having to buy, let's say, four boxes of the low series, maybe 5 to complete the set, or get enough that you can trade with your friends to complete the set. And then the high series is only 100 cards, and they put out, packs of, 10 cards per pack. 15 baseball cards per pack with 36 packs. That's going to be like 500 cards, right? And you only need 100, right? So what this is going to produce is a S-load of doubles and triples, right? So it didn't make sense, really. Anyway, so let's have some fun opening this up, and you can start. Just rip it any way you want. Want me to show you how to open them up? They are difficult. See? Yeah, exactly. Take it like that. Then you pull it so it makes a T. And you just pull down on the T and it opens it. Right? There you go.
I got these.
Maybe it was from 1 to 600, because here's a 630, a 739, a 560, 781. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the high series, no, I remember the high series being from 7 to 800, right? Looks like this is from, yeah, it's up to 800, because here's a 775.
I got 7.
Oh, you know what they did? I forgot. What they did was they mixed the low number series in with the high number series. That was the thing that irritated some of the collectors. Was they put out a low series which had from 1 to 700, or 1 to 700, and then they started putting out a high series that added that extra 100, but you're still getting the old 1 to 700s within the packs. Yep. Cool. Look at the pictures. Look how beautiful it is. See, they even had pictures on the back and the front, right? It was just, when people saw these cards from 1989, 1990, 1991, it was like, wow. And they always had the white borders, right? So when the other companies ended up catching up with their, Top Stadium Club was one, which didn't have any borders at all. They just bled the whole picture. It was just a picture with no border at all, which looked really beautiful as well. But these ones were stunning compared to the, the Don Ross and Topps cards of at the time. So do you want to put them in order, or do you just want to look at them?
What's this?
Oh, those are the holograms. They were so famous back in the day. So you'd have a hologram of each team at the time. So this is the New York Mets. What one is yours?
TWINS.
The Minnesota Twins. Put them here. All right. So let's look back and see who's half decent in this set.
How much cards are in one hand?
Fred McGriff when he played with San Diego.
Daddy,
He's a big name in Toronto.
Daddy.
This is after he got traded.
Not too many cards.
There's going to be lots. Yeah, Fred McGriff was a 30 home run guy for Toronto for like 3 or 4 years. What is it? From 87, 88, 89, and 90. 34, 36, and 35 home runs for first base. He was quite a good first baseman. I think who they replaced him with? I can't remember now. Mike Timlin, Ricky Jordan, Rick DeLucia, Tom Bolton, Zane Smith, Matt Williams. He was a very good third baseman.
15
Good
cards.
power. Matt Williams.
There's 15 cards in one hand.
Yeah, 15 cards. Not much else. Who are these guys? Tewksbury, Maldonado, Chris Gwynn, Tony Gwynn's brother, was not very good. Ken Daly, Dwight Smith, Chili Davis, he was okay as a DH later in his career. Junior Felix, Jimmy Kremers. So what do you think? Do you want to put them in order, or do you just want to open them up as quickly as possible?
I just want to open them as quickly as possible. And then after we put them in order.
Okay. So I got a Fred McGriff. What did you get? Probably the best card I got in that pack was Fred McGriff. It was this guy. This guy. Fred McGriff.
Oh, what?
Let me see. You probably don't know most of the baseball players, so let me see which ones you got. Franklin Stubbs.
Wait. I think you forgot this one.
Eric Hansen, Franklin Stubbs, Pete Shurick. Oh, cool. You got one of these. These are the low numbers. Chris Sabo. He was quite touted back in the day as a third baseman, but he never made it. He had a couple good years, but nothing great. Vince Coleman, the man who stole almost as many bases as Ricky Henderson, but couldn't hit worth crap. Cal Daniels, Steve Finley, Steve Farr, Bip Roberts, Steve Finley again, Dick Schofield, good defensive shortstop, but not much else. Radinsky, Templeton, Vince Coleman again. Why are we getting doubles in the same pack? Tim Raines, Hall of Famer. That's probably your best card. One of the great leadoff men for the Montreal Expos. Although he's playing for the White Sox.
That's my second packet.
All right. So he's probably the best guy. Eric Hansen, Franklin Stubbs, Pete Shurick. All right. Your second pack. Let's see what you got here. Luis Rivera, Ben Allred, Royce Clayton. He was highly touted at the time. Thought he was going to be a Hall of Fame shortstop. Never checklist. Never happened. Jose Mesa was pretty good. Wally Backman was an okay second baseman. He had one really good year where he hit over 300. Then you got the New York Mets. Vance Law. Kevin Bass. Mickey Templeton. He was an okay catcher. Couldn't play defense, but he hit with some power. Dave Clark, Matt Clarity, Jeff Bagwell. Is he in the Hall of Fame? I think he's in the Hall of Fame now. In fact, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Great first baseman for the San Diego Padres. No, for the Houston Astros. And this is his rookie card. This is Jeff Bagwell's rookie card. All right, so this one might be worth a couple bucks, but probably not. Glenn Davis, Kevin Gross, Dan Pasqua, Domingo Ramos, Darryl Kyle, Rob Deere, that's a power, Stan Belinda, Calderon, White Sox, Robbie Ventura. He was a good third baseman for the White Sox. I don't know if he never reached Hall of Fame numbers, but he did hit pretty well and was really, really good on defense. A little bit too many errors, but not too bad. Dante Bichette, Steve Sirchi, Pete Incaviglia, Ernest Riles, Lloyd Mosby was okay, Steve Bedrosian, John Barfield. Oh, another Vance Law, Craig Biggio.
Daddy.
Second baseman for the Houston Astros. He is also a Hall of Famer. He's one of those Hall of Famers like Paul Molitor, or who else would be around that? Alan Trammell. These guys.
Daddy.
Yeah.
This would be very good for parents.
What would?
The baseball cards.
Okay. Yeah. Like because the players are so old. Yeah. But I don't know. I wouldn't have voted him into the Hall of Fame. He was a good player over a long period of time, but was never great. So, Robin Yount would be another guy like that. All right. Ron Robinson, Mike Perez, Billy Ripken, Cal Ripken's younger brother. Played a good defensive second base, but couldn't hit very much. Harnish, Steve Sachs, good hitting second baseman. John Tudor was a good left-handed pitcher. Franklin Stubbs, Rob Deere, all power, nothing else. Mets, Sean Abner, Junior Ortiz, Steve Farr,
Daddy.
Joe Carter.
This is the comments.
Yeah. Joe Carter, one of the Toronto Blue Jays' greatest players. Consistently hit close to 30 home runs a year. Play a pretty good outfield. But it's that home run that he'll always be remembered for in the World Series that helped Toronto win in '92, if I remember correctly. So 20, 30 home runs every year. All right. Top prospect, Pat Kelly, never went anywhere. Mitch Williams, Wild Thing, hit a very, very fast fastball. He'll always be remembered for giving up that home run in the World Series for Philadelphia. I think it was in the World Series. Do your baseball research. Kent Herbeck, a very good first baseman, second tier, but you can't go wrong with him being on your team. Good defensively, hit for power, hit for average. Are you learning? Walt Weiss, good defensive shortstop. Steve Finley, good all-around player. Kyle Abbott, Wally Backman. Chris Huff, that knuckleballer. Jeff Hewson, Brian Downing, Mets again. How many Mets? Luis Soho, Jack Morris, second level pitcher, great for Detroit when they won in '84. Won the World Series in '84. He's a guy you want on your team because he'll just eat up innings, right? He'll pitch like 7, 8, 9 innings every time he starts, right? And he'll start like 35, 40 times a year, right? So you always want a guy like that on your team. Anthony Telford, Ken Howell, Sean Abner, George Brett, one of the greatest third basemen of all time. That .390 batting average in the strike shortened season of what year was that? 81 was a feat to behold. Let's put it that way. The only thing that came close was what, Gwynn's .370 around that time, back in what, Gwynn hit .370 in '84 or '85. No, he hit .370 '87 if I remember correctly. Anyways, but Brett Easy Hall of Famer, one of the greatest third basemen of all time for Kansas City. Jose Nessa, Eric Plunk. We're doing good. We're doing good. Mike Fetters, so many crappy, but look how beautiful these cards are, right? Just so nice. Greg Vaughn, good power hitter. Jeff Robinson, Paul Abbott, he was a pretty good pitcher. Lonnie Smith, very good hitter. Perfect DH, but he couldn't play defense worth his life. There we go. There's the first Hank Aaron. Number 26 of 27. These are the chase cards. Mickey Templeton, Minnesota Twins. Mitch Williams, Wild Thing again. Carney Lansford, pretty good third baseman. Good defense, could hit for average, but not much power. Steve Finley, all right, I already talked about him. Jim Presley. Top prospect, Jeff Juden, went absolutely nowhere. Larry Anderson, John Russell. What do we have here? We have Jim Vatcher, never even heard of him. Dante Bichette again. Julio Valera. You want to do one? Tony Fernandez. I mean, if Ozzie Smith is in the hall, you know, you could argue Tony Fernandez. Smith is probably better defensively, made less errors than Fernandez did, but Fernandez could hit with hit for average, so he would hit around 280 to 300 every year. He'd be a good player in the top of your lineup, maybe batting second, right? So, but just not enough hits, I don't think. I don't think he lasted long enough. But
Daddy,
he was one of the greats for the Blue Jays when they won 2 World Series.
what's this?
That's Hank Aaron. You know who Hank Aaron is? He used to have the most home runs ever hit in Major League Baseball.
Why the words here?
Words? That's a hologram, so you can't counterfeit the card. Not that anybody would want to with the amount of cards that Upper Deck put out. But anyways, Henry Aaron, Hank Aaron, one of the great players, Hall of Famer. How many home runs did he hit? 755? I think it was 755, wasn't it? And he had the most home runs ever until who passed him? Did Barry Bonds pass him? Can't remember who passed him. All right, Mike Walker. I haven't looked at baseball cards in a while. Rookie threats. Who are these 3 guys? Tuffy Rhodes never went anywhere. Jeff Bagwell in the Hall of Fame. And Luis Gonzalez. He had a couple of good years, Luis Gonzalez. He had that one MVP year, but he wasn't consistent. Oral Hershiser. This man in the 1980s was one of the greats. Didn't have overpowering stuff, but man, could he put a baseball where he wanted. And he would have like 20 win seasons like every year for a while there. 23-8. That was the year he won Cy Young. Steve Finley, Harris. Gonna get a lot of doubles on this stuff. Kirk Gibson. Too many injuries. He played too hard, and his body was too fragile. But he had the talent. He was a 5-tool player. It's very hard to find a 5-tool player. And a lot of the times these 5-tool players hurt themselves, and Kirk Gibson is one of those examples. Another one would be Eric Davis. I don't know if you remember Eric Davis for Cincinnati. Man, that guy was an amazing 5-tool player. But he was a 5-tool player. The only thing he couldn't do is play defense, and didn't have a great arm. But he could hit. He could hit for power. He could hit for average. He could steal bases. He was quick. So he had all the tools to be a great, but got injured too much. Jose Arijo, another very good pitcher of the time. White Sox. Then Keith Miller. Larry Anderson. Barry Jones. Top prospects of 91. Let's go through them. This is number 50, card number 50 in it. It gives you a checklist of all the. Okay, so let's look through them. How many of these top prospects ever went anywhere? All right. So we had Kyle Abbott. He had an okay career. Jeff Juden didn't even make it in the majors. Todd Van Poppel had a pretty good run there for a bit. Steve Carsey, never won it. Chipper Jones, definitely a Hall of Fame player, third baseman. His defense was a bit suspect at third, but he could hit for average, hit for power, even steal some bases. He was a perennial 300 hitter with like 20 to 30 home runs every year. Chris Johnson, no. John Eriks, Gary Scott, Kiki Jones, no. Wilfred Cordero, no. Royce Clayton. He had the start of a career that looked very promising, but then it never went anywhere. Tim Costco, no. Roger Salkfield, no. Brooke Fortis, no. Mike Mussina, he had a Hall of Fame career. Is he in the Hall of Fame? I think he is, right? Dave Stanton, no. Mike Lieberthal, no. Kurt Miller, no. Dan Peltier, no. Greg Blosser, Reggie Sanders, Brett Main, Rico Barona, Willie Banks, Lee the Butcher, Pat Kelly. So really only Chipper Jones and Mike Mussina, 2 out of the 26 prospects, right? Let's go quickly. Jose Oquendo, I'll just show you some guys that are good. Charlie Huff was good. Played like, I don't know how, 500 years because he threw a knuckleball, which is very easy on your arm. Don't blow out your arm very much. Not much here. Bud Black. Bud Black wasn't bad, but...
I'm just gonna take all of these.
Okay, you take those. Ivan Calderon, Kiki Jones, Eric Shaw, Mike Heath, Luis Pelunia, Turner Ward. Baltimore Orioles, Greg Brock, Gary Gaetti, he was pretty good. At third base, he had a few good years. Let's see here, what was his run here? Okay, in 86, he hit 287 with 34 home runs and 108 ribbies and 14 stolen bases. And then 87, 257 with 31 home runs, 109 ribbies, and 10 stolen bases.
Those triplets. Daddy.
Had a few good years.
Daddy.
Tom Glavine, Hall of Famer.
Daddy.
One of the great left-handers of all time. Couldn't throw a ball faster than 90 miles per hour, but he could fool you really easily. Yeah.
Those
Three White Sox. Yeah.
And 3 triplets. And something. Oh. Twins.
Franklin Stubbs. So many people wanted these cards that Upper Deck put out. So many of them. There's boxes and boxes of them. I mean, it's so easy to find. Even here's another one. It's so easy to find boxes that haven't even been opened yet, and it's been what, 91 to 23 years or whatever. 30 years would be what? 2021. So over 30 years. Albert Bell, that guy was a powerhouse. That other guy was a monster for a few years. And this looks like it is his third year, and he was more of a prospect at this time. But later on in the 90s, man, he cracked a lot of home runs. So yeah, so Upper Deck made you, if you wanted to get the high series from 700 to 800, you had to buy packs that had the low series. So some people just gave up on buying the low pack boxes and just bought the high pack boxes, if I remember correctly, and just collected it all from the high pack boxes. But, oh, here's another one. Number 21. Henry Aaron's moved to Atlanta, 1966. Who was this dude? Jim Gatner, he was an okay second baseman. Rob Deere, all power, no average. Bryant Downing. Pedro Guerrero, one of the great hitters of baseball. Could not play defense. Sometimes they put him in the outfield. Sometimes they put him at first. But
Daddy,
he sucked. He sucked defensively. So,
Daddy, it's more than half and
and
missed.
but he could hit for average. 338, 286, 311, 291, popping 27, 17 home runs. Dave Parker, very good player, especially for the Cincinnati Reds back in the day. He would play so many, he was like an Iron Man, and he would hit like 20, 30 home runs a year, hit 290, hit 300. Very good player, but just didn't have enough to get into the Hall. Dennis Eckersley, Hall of Famer. But he became a Hall of Famer because he became a reliever. As a starter, he was good for a couple of years, but his arm didn't last long enough for him to, so he ended up ballooning his stats because of it. So what they did was they put him in a bullpen and he became one of the greatest relief pitchers of all time. Very hard to find somebody better than Dennis Eckersley at his height. Right? His ERA would be like under 2. Look at this one in 1990. He had an ERA of 0.61. What? 0.61 with 48 saves, only 41 hits in 73 innings. Just ridiculous how good he was. Bobby Ojeda was pretty good. Roberto Alomar, one of the few Toronto Blue Jays that is in the Hall of Fame. He was the best second baseman of his generation, better than who was the second baseman for the Astros I was just talking about that made it in, not Jeff Bagwell, but anyways, he was, for the 1990s, this guy was the best second baseman. He hit for power, hit for average, 5-tool player, had an arm, could steal bases. Nothing this guy couldn't do, and a Gold Glove second baseman. Willie Banks is not a prospect anymore. Dick Schofield, very good at. I would have Dick Schofield on my team because he was just so good. He was very good at shortstop, but man, he couldn't hit. He was hitting the low 200s every year. Ken Daly, Jack Morris, another guy that you wouldn't mind having on your team. He just eats up the innings. Kirk Gibson again. Jay Howell, he was pretty good, especially as a reliever. Andre Dawson, another one of those guys that are like Hall of Famer from. See, who are the Hall of Famers that came out of Montreal? You have all of them from the 80s. Andre Dawson was one out there in center and right field. Tim Raines out in left field was a Hall of Famer, and Gary Carter, catcher, were the 3. Now he's borderline, same as Tim Raines. Tim Raines kind of borderline as well. That one year when he was in Chicago, how many home runs did he hit that year? Like 40 something? 49, yeah, 49 in 87 for the Cubs. But much of his career is played in Montreal with that huge stadium, right? Olympic Stadium was a huge stadium, so he never hit a lot of home runs. Then he goes to Chicago and pops 49, right? So Dave Winfield, another, is he in the Hall of Fame? I think he is, right? Just really consistent over a long period of time. He played in his 40s, right? So always hit around 25, 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, 100 runs. Very good player, hit for average. Gillian Gross. John Smoltz, another. That Atlanta team just had an amazing pitching staff through the 90s. That's why they won so many times, or made it to the World Series so many times. Baltimore Orioles, Huey Brooks, Ozzie Smith, another Hall of Famer. He actually, through most of his career, couldn't hit himself out of a wet paper bag, but when he did get on with a walk or a bunt single or an error or whatever, he could steal bases really well, and his defense at shortstop was second to none. He was that good at short, and the Cardinals kept him around just for that, right? He did have that one year where he hit like 280 or something. No, 303, yeah, 280 and 86 and 87, he hit 303. Believe it or not, I don't know what happened. Why couldn't he do that for most of his career, right? MVP lineup: Dawson, Ryan Sandberg, and George Bell, all for Chicago. Ryan Sandberg's another Hall of Famer. All right, here's Tim Raines, Hall of Famer. I already talked about him. Orlando Merced, Dennis Boucher, Daryl Boston, Hal Morris, John Farrell, Keith, Danny Tartabull. He was pretty good. Didn't play defense worth crap, but he could hit for power and average, at least for some time. Roy Smith, Pete Harnish, Baltimore Orioles. New York Yankees checklist. As we get through them, we're getting doubles. There's another Roberto Alomar. And Expos, back when the Expos still existed. Brett Butler, very good leadoff man. He got better and better as his career went on and on, but just below being able to, those second tier players that are just under being able to get into the Hall. Here's a typical line of his: 295, 91 runs, 9 doubles, 91 walks, 40 stolen bases, so he could do everything. Great leadoff man. Although baseball these days don't care about leadoff men anymore. Don't care about stealing bases. It's all about hitting for power, not even for average. You should be embarrassed if you struck out 100 times every year. And if you did, you better hit 40 home runs. Now they don't care. Half the league strikes out 100 times a year. George Bell, one of the great DHs, left fielders, couldn't play for defense, but the man could hit. He's an RBI monster, right? So 309 with 101 runs, 198 hits, 31 home runs, and 108 RBIs. Typical line for Bell when he was at his prime. He didn't make the Hall, though. Jack Clark, one of the great DHs. There was this one year back in, I think it was 87. Is it 87? I think he had like 130 something walks. Yeah, man, he was a walking machine. So he hit, 87, 286, 93 runs, 35 home runs, 106 RBIs, and 136 walks. That was a very good year for him, but he couldn't copy it all the time. He would get injured a lot. Ruben Sierra. This man was a 5-tool player as well. His defense was a bit suspect, but when he was on, he was on. 87 was a great year for him. 97 runs, 30 home runs, 109 RBIs. Jack Morris, already talked about him. Sammy Sosa. He broke the record that in 87, wasn't it? What year did him and McGuire just go crazy with the home runs, and they both hit, like, he hit 66 and McGuire hit 70 something.
No.
The Expos. Anyways, and then he had that cork bat incident where everybody knew he used cheats. So many cheaters in the 90s. Juan Augusto, all the steroid users. Turner Ward, Ricky Jordan. Got bored?
No, I'm just walking around.
Vince Coleman. Man, this guy could not hit very well and could not get on base very well, but if he could, man, he would have sold more bases than Ricky Henderson. This guy was a stealing machine, especially for the Cardinals. Just look at his stolen base numbers. 107, 109, 81, 65, 77, just stole more bases than anybody else except for Ricky Henderson. Mitch Williams again. Greg Olson. Willie Randolph. He was one of my favorite players to watch, especially when he was playing for the Yankees. Back in the mid '80s. Became a very good coach as well. So, but he could hit for pretty good average, get on base. You're a great second in the lineup type of guy. Very good with the bat and a very good defensive second baseman as well. So, didn't make the Hall though. How many Mitch Williams do I really need?
Brown guy.
Pete Harnish. Junior Ortiz.
41.
Dave Righetti. Dave Righetti for the Yankees and for the Padres. He was pretty good. He was a good left-handed relief pitcher out of the bullpen, and he would save a good amount of. He started off as a starter for the Yankees, if I remember correctly, but then he went into the bullpen. That's where he shined. He ended up having a bunch of saves all through his career. One of the great save guys. 46, 31, 25, 25, 36 saves. ERA of around 3 or under.
16.
Andres Galarraga, he was considered one of the prospects on the Expos back in the day, and he did have a few good years, but he couldn't sustain it because of injuries, right? So 305, 302, 87, and 88.
The 40 left.
Okay.
Because the 4, 8, 16,
Right.
and 16 plus 16 equals 42, I think.
Okay. Alomar again. Hall of Famer. Oh, there's another. Gary Sheffield. This guy was going to be a force to be reckoned with, but it didn't happen. Although he did have a few good years. In 90, hit 294 with 25 stolen bases. Not too bad. But he couldn't play defense very well. Another Roberto Alomar. There's 2 Roberto Alomars. One with this one and one.
You missed this one.
Yeah.
I want that.
Where's the other Roberto Alomar? Or am I seeing things as a face shot? Looks like Roberto Alomar had a. That's why, because what they did was in the 100 extra. Why they came out with 100 extra was because people would. The trade deadline would come and people would get traded. So he was in the Blue Jays for part of the season, and the other part of the season got traded to the Padres. So 2 baseball cards in one set. Bud Black, he wasn't a bad pitcher. For the Royals, especially. What was that year? Indians. Anyways, Spike Owen was not very good. Who's this guy? Albert Bell. He would be a force to be reckoned with in the 90s. I don't think he ever made the Hall of Fame, though. Oh, another Aaron. Bob Melvin. Rex Hudler. Mike Scott. This guy was a strikeout machine and was good for 2 or 3 years for the Houston Astros when they were good back in the day. But then he got progressively worse. But during the 80s, man, this guy was an extremely good pitcher. I don't know if he ever made the Hall. I don't think so. I didn't think he could sustain it for a long period of time. But back in 86, ERA of 2.22, 3.23, 2.92, 310 from 86 to 89. And he could strike out a lot of people. Where's the strikeout totals? 306, 233. So that 86 year was probably his best. He went 18 and 10 with a 2.22 ERA, started 37 games, pitched 275 innings, only gave about 182 hits, and struck out 300. So.
about this one?
Tim Raines, he had 2 cards as well, it looks like. Oh, exposed again. Oh, another Hank Aaron. Yeah, we're getting to the point where I've talked about probably all the best players in here, or most of them anyways. Open up, look at your pictures.
I can do it.
You do one.
I can do 3. Can I do 3 of them?
Just keep going. Wade Boggs, here's a guy. One of the great third basemen, one of the great hitters of all time. He didn't hit for power. I think the most home runs he ever hit in a year was 20, 25 or 26, 27, something like that. 24. But he would consistently hit in the mid 300s. It was extremely rare that he wouldn't hit like over 300 every year and get like close to 200 hits every year, right? And he would walk like a MF as well, and his on base percentage, sometimes almost reached 500, right? It was always in the mid 400s, right? Look at this batting average: 357, 363, 366, 330, and 302.
I only found the sack list when I opened it.
And he's a Hall of Famer, obviously.
Daddy, read the checklist.
No, I don't need to read the checklist. Willie McGee, he was one of my favorite players to watch, but when he was with the Cardinals. Played center field for the Cardinals, and I think it was 87 he had like an MVP, or he won the MVP, but that was the only great year he had, if I remember correctly. Was it 87, 88, 90? Was it 90? What year did he? '88, he hit 292. 1990 hit 335, 76 runs, 62 RBIs, 28 stolen bases. Didn't he win the MVP? He did win the MVP, Minnesota Twins.
I'm just going to stack them.
Mark McGuire, there's the dude that would take more steroids than your sister. And his power just...
Stuffing them on top of each other so it's easier.
He hit the most home runs as a rookie. What was it, like 49 or something he hit as a rookie? Yeah, 49 and 87. 118 RBIs. Hit 289. He never hit that high again. His rookie year was probably his best year, but it was that 70 home run year in the 90s, right? Everybody said he was jacked. He was juiced. Of course he was. But every year he would hit 49, 32, 33, 39. He ended up going up to 70 one year. But not in the Hall of Fame because people just can't forgive him for breaking everybody's home run records, or whatever, hitting so many home runs as a juiced player. So there's Tim Raines in a White Sox uniform for Villanova. Well, you're opening them all very quickly.
Yeah.
That's good because we've gone through almost everybody. That's good. Oh, we got to have the Bo. Bo Jackson, one of the greatest athletes of all time. Too bad his hip gave out on him.
Look at my garbage.
Yeah. But this man played football and he played baseball. And he played baseball and football at the same time at some point, right? Him and Deion Sanders did. But he was a much better football player than he was a baseball player. But he chose baseball because it was easier on his hip, right? But man, when he played for the Raiders for those couple of years, yeah, him and Marcus Allen in the backfield, my God, what a combination that was. And yeah, this guy was unstoppable. He couldn't hit in baseball, he couldn't hit for average, but he definitely could hit for power. And man, he ran around the outfield pretty damn quick too. So he was a spectacle to watch, let's put it that way. Home runs, 22, 25, 32, and 28. So he did have some power. And one year he had 105 RBIs with 172 strikeouts. So that's Benito Santiago for San Diego. One of the great defensive catchers of all time. He didn't make the Hall though, but man, he could catch a game. All right. It's just that his he had that 1 year where he hit 300, right? Yeah, but no power. 18, 10, 16 home runs. Very good catcher. I would definitely have him on my team. Paul Molitor, he made the haul. He ended up going up to Toronto and DHing and helping them win the World Series back in the 90s. But this guy was a hitting machine. He just couldn't play third base very well or first base. Just not very good defensively. 291, 353, 312, 315, 295. All in the high hits and, double digits in home runs. Extremely good hitter. The Mets.
Yeah, almost.
Fernando Venezuela. He was such a good player when he was young, but burnt out. Hey. This is an extremely rare card. It's a hologram card of Henry Aaron. That's probably the only card in the whole deck that we've got that is worth any money.
Oh.
Is that cool looking? What? HH1.
Yeah, it looks cool. It's rainbowy.
So we'll see what that goes for. Maybe I'm incorrect, but I opened so many boxes of this back in the day, back when I was in my 20s. It was just ridiculous, and I never saw that one. Never saw that card before, so that's kind of cool. Dennis Eckersley again. Man, this guy was just such a good relief pitcher. One of the reasons why the A's won the World Series a few times. Chris Bosio. Not a bad player. Bud Black, another pretty good pitcher. Terry Pendleton, he had that one MVP year for the Cardinals. Was it 87? I think it was it 87? 296. Wait, it's not on the back of the card, but he did have an MVP year. Another Sox. What's going on? Chipper Jones, top prospect. There we go. That's his rookie card. It's too bad that his rookie card was in the most overproduced set on the planet, but it's probably worth a few bucks. Dwight Evans. This man.
Oh, done.
He was extremely fun to watch just for his arm out in right field, because, man, he could throw. All right.
Daddy.
Awesome.
It's so done.
All done. Cool. Let's get through these. It's fun to look back on baseball players when you were younger.
Daddy.
Yeah.
Of
course, my son doesn't know any of these guys. Mitch Williams.
Remember the Creamy Whale card?
Right there.
Okay.
Don't bend it or break it or anything like that. John Kruk. He was extremely fun to watch. The first baseman DH for the Phillies back in the day. He could hit for average, and he had medium power. Couldn't play defense with a crap, but that's why they had him on first base. But started off with San Diego, if I remember correctly, and then went over to the Phillies. But his batting averages were always good: 309, 313, 300, 291. 1 year he was injured, hit 241, but usually pretty close to double digits in home runs. So that was that All-Star game. He's most famous for the All-Star game where he faced Randy Johnson, and Randy Johnson threw 102 mile an hour fastball, inside, and Kruk just sit there and went, wow, man, what am I doing against this guy, right? So there's another one. Put those in the garbage.
Yes, we have too many of them.
Yeah, there's so many cards here.
Come on,
There.
one fell.
Finally got a Ken Griffey Jr., my favorite baseball player of all time. Hall of Famer, made his name in Seattle, but then moved over to Cincinnati, which is his hometown. But the man could hit. 5-tool player, had an arm, could steal bases, could hit for power, could hit for average, just did everything. Great player. One of the all-time greats. Oh, another one. Same one. Lenny Dykstra. This guy was fun to watch. A great leadoff hitter with some pop in his bat. But once he seemed to be two different players. When he played for the Mets, he was like a weaker version of himself. And then when he went over to the Phillies, I don't know. I think he probably got on roids like everybody else was doing. And then his batting average and his power went up, right? So he started hitting a lot better.
Finally.
325 in 1990 with 106 runs, 33 stolen bases.
Do that.
Please.
Please.
Chile. Ozzie Smith. One of the great defensive shortstops. Terry Pendleton, great. He won a defensive award over at third base one year. Sam Horn. Give me some good players. Give me some good players.
Applejack Heroes Basketball.
Just getting copies of everything. Copies of everything that I've already had. Chris Hoyles, he was a very good catcher. Baseball Heroes.
Daddy.
Yep. Expos. Expos.
If you like do like this here, it's the best.
Yeah,
Obviously.
Shine's really cool.
Yeah.
Todd Van Poppel.
Wait, I'm gonna
We're
see.
getting through them. Baltimore Orioles.
It's been almost 1 hour.
Yeah, it takes a while to open up cards. Just copies of cards I already have. Albert Bell. One will come up at some point. Baltimore. You just see me run through these until I hit somebody that's worth showing you. Gary Carter. There we go. Hall of Famer, went from Montreal to the Mets and then to the Dodgers. One of the great catchers of all time. That one year where he hit 293 with 30 home runs was a really good year for him.
Is this made of paper?
It's not showing it on the back though.
It's made of paper.
Yeah.
Cardboard. What happens if you wash it?
So he went into the Hall, let's put it that way.
Daddy.
Gary Carter did, I mean.
Daddy, what happens if you wash it?
No, you're not going to wash it.
How?
We're going to put it in a protective thing and display it. Maybe you can display it in your room on your wall or something. What do you think?
Yes.
Lance Parrish. One of the great catchers back in the day, especially for Detroit. He
Detroit plants.
The Detroit Tigers is the name of the team. He backstopped that championship team in 1984 where they won like almost every game they played. The Detroit Tigers did that year with Trammell at short and was Whitaker at Kirk Gibson was on the team. Whitaker was at second base. Man, that team was a very good team, but pitching with Jack Morris and others, it was just a great team. They won in '84. They went like 24-4 to start the season. They never looked back. Oh, there we go. Another Hank Aaron Expos. But he never made the Hall because he got injured and he didn't stick around long enough. Parrish, I mean. Curt Schilling. Early in his career, he was pretty good, but then when he got into midlife, man, with the Philadelphia Phillies and others, he had that 3 or 4 years that he was just like unstoppable in like the late 90s. Jesse Barfield. He played for the Toronto Blue Jays. This guy could hit okay, hit for pretty good power, average not so high, but not too bad overall. But his defense out in right field was just outstanding, especially his arm. I mean, his arm was just like a rocket. Him and
Daddy,
Dwight Evans just had rockets for arms. Yeah.
if this is all my room, I'm gonna put it all in my room on the ceiling.
I don't know. We'll figure out a place. We'll get a box for it. Baltimore again. Getting through it. We're almost done. Tino Martinez. He was one of my favorite players to watch. Pretty good first baseman. Not great, but the Mariners were my favorite team at the time. So still are, I guess. Although I do like the Blue Jays since they're so close. Baltimore. Same players over and over again.
Taking a long time.
Sox. Again. Give me somebody that's good.
Daddy,
Somebody that's good.
though that's only 3 minutes until it's an hour.
Cool. Usually figure that's how long it'll take. Here we go. Here's a good guy. Kirby Puckett. This guy was short and stout, and man, you see him running in the Minnesota outfield was such a joy because you didn't think a stout-looking guy could run so fast. But he was like one of the best center fielders of his generation, and he had an arm. Most center fielders, you want your right fielder to have your best arm, but this guy always had the best arm in Minnesota playing center. And man, this guy could hit for average and hit for extra bases and some power. Didn't walk much. That's the only issue with him, but he was like a 5-tool player, and then he ended up catching a disease and dying. But he's in the Hall. That 1 year in 88, hit 356, 109 runs, 234 hits, 42 doubles, 5 triples, 24 home runs, 121 RBIs, and 6 stolen bases. MVP year. Such a good player, and he's in the Hall. Ooh, Doug Drabek.
Oh,
He did not make the Hall, but for the Pirates, he was extremely good. He was extremely good for a decade.
you still threw this on that?
I apologize. Gary Carter for San Francisco. Man, he went all over the place when he left Montreal.
Then you put this on here too.
I apologize.
I'm just looking if you did a mistake or something.
Well, we're going to go through them, right? So,
Okay.
another one. Oh, Mets.
Boom, boom, boom.
And the last one is Luis Belonia. Very good speed, pretty good outfielder, but absolutely no power. All right, so that looks like that's everything. Garbage and garbage and garbage. So not too bad. One Jeff Bagwell rookie card. Garbage, 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 garbage. And this would probably be the highlight of what we got, because I've never seen that card before. What are the HH1? Hank Aaron, To Perform, 1991 Heroes of Baseball Series. Hall of Famer Hank Aaron will be among many baseball greats slated to participate in the 1991 Upper Deck Heroes of Baseball Series. Aaron, the National League MVP in 1957, participated in 24 All-Star games in his 23-year career. The Hammer is the all-time leader in home runs
It's been
with 755,
1 hour.
although that's incorrect now. RBIs with 2,297, tied for second in runs with 2,174, along with Babe Ruth, and ranks third in hits with 3,771. See your favorite heroes in action, baseball fans. you will be able to see their heroes play in the Upper Deck Home Run Heroes of Baseball games, which will be played prior to regularly scheduled Major League games. It's hard to read some of this because several games during the tour will honor special events in baseball history, such as the 50th anniversary of Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio's phenomenal 1941 seasons. Watch for the Upper Deck Heroes of Baseball game coming to a Major League ballpark near you. So this is numbered HH1. And I don't know how well you can see it, but can you see it? So that's kind of cool. So I'll have to get a protective thing for that. It already has a scratch on it though. See, right there. But maybe not. No, it's gone now. That's kind of cool, right? Alright, so let's stop the video. Oh, and thank you for watching.
Bye.
Say bye, Max. Say bye again.
Make sure to like and subscribe.
Make sure to like and subscribe. Hello everyone, and welcome back to part 2 of our video. We have opened everything in part 1, and now part 2 we've organized it all, and we have the results. All right, so basically, just to recap, 91's Upper Deck had a lower set, which is from 1 to 700, and a high set, which was from 701 to 800. Now, in the high set, you had the Hank Aaron cards, all right, and you know each one has a hologram of each team's logo, right? So 36 packs, 36 packs, 15 cards each. That makes up 540 total cards that we should get in there, not including the 36 holograms. All right, so breaking it down, if you notice the stacks, all right, so these are 1 to 100, 101 to 200, 201 to 300, 301 to 400, 401 to 500, 501 to 600, 601 to 700, and this big stack here is from 701 to 800. Now, because this stack is so big, you obviously think it's going to be big because this is a high numbered series, right? So total high number from 701 to 800, we had 159 cards, all right? So the biggest stack we had that was not the 700s was the 100s, and we had 72 of those. Every other group of 100 had 36, 37, or 38 cards each, all right? So this was double. The 100s were double, all right? So when you're opening packs, probably if you get a pack of the a box of the upper numbers, 701 to 800, you're going to get from 100 to 700, you're going to get 36, 37 cards for each 100, and then one you're going to get double. So in mine, you got the 100s got double, right? So now, how did they collate? How did they put them in the machines to pack them into the bags? Did they do a good job of doing it, or did they do it in a way that you have to buy more cards than you should have to? All right, so let's think about. Let's go through that. All right, so every small stack, 100, the 0 to 100, 200s, 300s, 400s, 500s, and 600s all had 36 cards. None of them were doubles, so that's really good. All right? So you got 1/3 of each of the set of 100 without having any doubles. But what happens if you get twice that amount in the one box, which is 72? Well, this one here had 31 doubles in it. 31 doubles, all right, and 41 unique cards. So out of the 72, only 41 of them were unique, meaning that you need to find another 59. Basically, the doubles in this one, basically all of the cards that were extra in this one were mostly just doubles. So you didn't really get 36, 36, 37, 38, 36, 36, and this one you got 41. The rest of them were doubles, all right? So from 100 to 700, if you're just buying if you were just buying you waited until the high numbered series of boxes came out, you would need to buy, at least 3 boxes just to get from 1 to 700. Now, how did they collate 701 to 800? I mean, you bought a box of 540 cards. Do you think that you could get the 100 of the high numbers from 701 to 800? No, you didn't. I'm missing 11 cards. All right. So when you collate a set, when you put it into a box, you can put it in any way you want. But if you're going to collate it properly for the for the collector, all right, who wants to collect but doesn't want to spend a ton of money, you should be able to buy one box of 540 cards and get the 701 to 800 in one shot. You shouldn't have to buy a second box to do that. So these would be pretty much extra, right? They're just thrown in there to make these ones less, all right, and make it seem worthwhile to buy the upper one. Because if you're going to buy a box of 36 packs with 15 in it and you're only trying to get 100 cards, buying 540 to get 100 seems a bit much, right? So then they throw in these lower cards. Otherwise, you're going to get, you're going to get 10 of each. You know what I mean? It's going to be like you're going to get 9 doubles or 10 of each, right? So how did they collate? Did you get every one of these? No, you don't. You don't even get every one of them. I'm missing 11 out of the 100. So I only had 89 unique cards. How many doubles did I get in this set? So there's 159 total. I got 28 doubles, all right? I got 15 triples, 14 quadruples, and 13 whatever the 5 is. So 13 cards in this pack from 701 to 800. I got 5 of them. Yet I didn't get 11 cards, right? I got more cards that I got 5 of than I did get 1 unique card, right? So they didn't do it properly. What they're wanting you to do, obviously, is to buy more boxes, right? So you get this, you go, oh, I only need 11 left, I'll go buy another box. So what happens if you buy another box? Will you get those 11? Well, you're going to hope anyways, right? I guess you're going to trade with your friends, right? Because you got so many doubles, triples, and quadruples. You should never buy a box of cards where you're going to get 5 of the same card in it. It means they didn't collate it properly. And I got 13 of them where I got 5 cards of the same, right? So Upper Deck's just trying to rip you off a bit when it came to this upper numbered set. All right, so, and if you got 36 packs and there's 10 of the Hank Aaron cards, all right, there is this chase card that's like this, right? But it has a signature on it. It's worth a lot of money, $400 or $500 right now. So, but the blank one. So this is the checklist, all right? So it goes from 19 to 27, all right? So 9 cards, 19 to 27. And then you get the header card, which is this card. All right. So altogether, I got 10 cards. 10 of these ones, all right? So, or we got 10 of these ones, right, buddy? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And out of the 9 plus the header card, I got the header card. I got 20, 21, 23, 24, 26, and 27. But I got doubles of 23 and doubles of 24. Yeah. Yes, when we have that. So now let's move to the holograms. So at this time there was, I think, 26 teams in Major League Baseball.
Daddy, can I taste something?
Sure. That has nothing to do with this, though.
At least I saw the dino cards.
You want to quickly show them? Sure.
No, you show them.
I show them.
Yeah.
All right. Time out. Pause. Dino cards. So Max got a dino egg for Christmas. Inside they had these packs of cards of all the different types of dinosaurs. Iguanodon, Styracosaurus. Yeah, you pronounce these. Ornithomimus. Tyrannosaurus. Everybody knows that one. Corythosaurus. Ankylosaurus. Deinonychus, Parasaurolophus, Try to say that 5 times quickly. Pterodactyl, Dilophosaurus, Stegosaurus, everybody knows that one. Diplodocus, and an Iguanodon. Pretty cool. Other cards, not just baseball cards in your collection. All right, so of the 26 teams that were in Major League Baseball, 1, 2, 3, 4. We got five of the. So if you're collecting these ones, these holograms of each one of the teams.
Daddy.
Well, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Minnesota Twins ones.
Now can I show this?
Yeah, that'll be last. So then I got 6 or 7 White Sox, 3 or 4 Expos, 6 or 7 Orioles, and like 6 or 7 Mets. All right, so we only got 5 teams out of the 26, and then we got 5, 6 of them. So they're not mixing these ones up either. If why would they do that, you think? All right, so some people are completists, right? So when back in the day, nobody's a completist anymore because it's just too expensive to do it. You used to have something that was called a set builder, where you'd have, let's say for this set, you would just get the regular set from 1 to 800. You'd go about collecting those, and then you'd move on to the next set that you want to collect, right? But then you have something that was called. I don't think there are them anymore. It's the reason why I got out of collecting baseball cards back in the early 2000s. Was the master set builder. I was a master set builder. I like building master sets. What is a master set? A master set is at least 1 card of every card in the set. So for this set, I would need all the 10 Hank Aaron cards. I would need the signature card, the Hank Aaron signature card. I would need, the silver sluggers, the slugger cards. I think there was 10 of those or 20 of those, but they only came in the jumbo packs of the lower and upper. You had a jumbo packs. You would get like 20 packs with like 50 cards in each of them or something along that line. Well, the unique set to build in those were the silver slugger cards, right? And in the 1 to 700 boxes, you had the Nolan Ryan, Chase the Nolan Ryan. So you had 10 hero cards of Nolan Ryan, and his signature. There was 2,500 of his signatures and 2,500 of Aaron's. And then you had the 3 Hall of Fame cards. Ferguson Jenkins was one of them. I think Harmon Killebrew was another. I would have to look it up, but there was 3 other Hall of Famers that were in this set. You had the Michael Jordan SP1 card, all right, and Lou Brock, Ricky Henderson card, SP card as well, of Ricky Henderson breaking Lou Brock's record of stolen bases, 939. There's actually 2 versions of that. There's one that has the date on it. I think it was May 1st date, and others don't have the date on it. The date is missing, so you have 2 variations of that card. And you have, what else did you have? There's a joint card with Ricky Henderson and Nolan Ryan on it for Ricky Henderson breaking Lou Brock's stolen base record and Nolan Ryan pitching his 7th no-hitter. There was that card as well. I think that was it. So you got the 3 Hall of Famer, Ferguson Jenkins, Harmon Killebrew. Don't quote me on the Harmon Killebrew, but I think Ferguson Jenkins was one of them. But there's 3 of them that came in it. The Nolan Ryan Ricky Henderson card, the Ricky Henderson card, the Michael Jordan card, the 10 Aaron cards, the 10 Nolan Ryan cards, and their 2 signature cards, and the silver sluggers. I think that is everything that was in the set. So if you want, and all 26 of these holograms, right? And show that one.
My dad got this one for the first time. It's $100.
Yeah, you think it's $100? It could be. We'd have to look it up. Anyway, so this one is HH number 1. It's a hologram of Hank Aaron. So that's cool. I don't know if there's any more of those holograms. Is there one in the lower numbering with Nolan Ryan? Is there an HH1 for Nolan Ryan? I'm not sure. I would have to do the research on it. But basically, those were, if there is, then a master builder would try to collect all the holograms as well. So Upper Deck, knowing that a lot of people are master builders, right? What did they do? You know, you buy a box of cards and you only get 5 of these out of the 26. Imagine how many boxes you have to buy to get all 26 of these holograms, right? And you don't get all 10 of these, and you don't even get, in the high number, you don't even get all of these 100 high numbers. You have to buy another box in order to try to complete it, because I'm missing 11 of them. So it's a bit disappointing on how they collate, but you know, the business, they want you to spend as much money as you can, right? And this table is making that thing bounce again. So this table is jittery, so when it knocks in the camera, it makes the camera move like that. Probably irritating for the viewer. All right, so what's good in this? Well, those specialty cards are good. The signature cards are the ones that you really want. The Aaron and the Nolan Ryan signature cards. But in this one, it would be the Hank Aaron signature card. And you got, in the lower numbers, you have Jeff Bagwell's rookie card, Mike Mussina's rookie card, if I remember correctly.
Daddy, I think we can make this to a flipper.
And Chipper Jones rookie card. All right, so if you can find those ones in really, really like perfect condition, they're worth a bit of money. But you know, this set was so overproduced, or I don't know if it was overproduced. See, there was a spike in the 90s for baseball card collecting, and it happened when Bruce McNall, who was the owner of the LA Kings at the time, and Wayne Gretzky, you know, the Canadian superstar, the greatest hockey player ever to live. He played for Edmonton for much of his career, but then he moved down to LA and played for the Kings before he ended up moving back up north and playing for the Rangers. But during this time in the 90s, he was playing for the Kings. All right, so him and Bruce McNall bought a T206 card of Honus Wagner. I think the best looking out of all the Honus Wagner cards that still remain. I think they bought it for $450,000. All right, and that sparked a lot of interest. All right, and they ended up selling it for what did they sell it for? Like, I think it was $1 million or close to $1 million at the time. Now it's in the $4-7 million range. I haven't looked it up lately, but when I stopped in the 2000s, that card was worth just over $2 million, if I remember correctly. So, so people saw that and say, "Hey, maybe I can get rich by buying baseball cards, right?" And you know, and in a way, I mean, if you hit that, if you bought the cards before the bubble that hit in the 90s, that popularity spike in the 90s, if you had cards before that, yeah, if you sold them during that, you would probably make a good amount of money. I remember back in the 80s collecting baseball cards, a 52 Topps Mickey Mantle card, not like a super mint shape, but a very good shape. You could buy it for like $200, right? And that same card, when the bubble hit in the mid 90s, went from a few thousand up to now it's almost $500,000, right? So I mean, the higher end ones of them are up there over $1 million, and the lower end ones are in the hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. So if you went and bought, let's say, a 7 of a Mickey Mantle 52, and let's say you paid $300 for it, and then you got it graded and selling it, you're probably selling it for like $50,000, or I have no idea. I'd have to look at, but I mean, the amount that it went up is just crazy, right? So so yeah, there was that big bubble, and everybody started collecting baseball cards in the early 90s when that happened. And then Upper Deck came into the field in 89 and started producing really nice cards, and everybody followed suit, and then there was a big glut in the market of baseball cards. People were, they're not in the business to sell less cards, right? The reason why older cards or vintage cards are worth money is because there's not many of them around, right? But you want to fill the demand. So Upper Deck was really popular, and everybody wanted the Upper Deck cards, so they produced millions of them. And now 30 something years later, you can still easily find a unopened box of 91 Upper Deck cards and get it for $10, $15 maybe. You know what I mean? So yeah. So anyway, so that's the set. You didn't get all of it, so the cards A+, the collation of the cards, including the holograms, a C, maybe a D, because they make you buy more than you need to. You should be able to fill 701 to 800 in one box, since you bought 540 of them, right? So that was a bit disappointing. So anyways, so that's that, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave us a thumbs up, think about subscribing, and you have a great day. Say bye, Max.
Bye.
Can't even see you on the camera, probably.
Bye.
Bye.
Like and subscribe, please.
All right, so that's good. So we'll find a box and put this stuff in the box. All right.